What's up guys, Mr. C here, and I'm just going to make a quick video about just one option you can do. It's going to be a recommendation I like to use for a really easy and filling breakfast. And all you're going to need is basically what you see here. I'll kind of talk more about the ingredients as we go, but let's get started. For starters, I'm just going to start to kind of boil 1 cup of liquid. Right, in this case, it can be milk or water. It really is up to you. I like to use milk because I'm usually always trying to take in more calories instead of trying to cut weight. But I do about a 50-50 mix because also I think the water keeps it a little runnier, just a little bit. And with this particular recipe for me, it'll end up getting pretty thick otherwise, so I use it to kind of thin it out. But you just kind of play around with it. You know, if you make it a couple times, you'll see if you like it better with milk or with water. Generally, the milk kind of just makes it a little creamier, and it depends on your nutritional needs. I will say I don't want to do too many nutritional information pieces here, just because nutrition is very specific to each person, and to talk really generally about it is basically a whole separate course in itself. So, you know, anytime you see online, or for me, any kind of nutritional guideline, just remember that everybody has very different needs based on who they are and what their goals are. Some people are trying to gain weight, some people are trying to lose weight, some people, you know, are vegetarian or vegan or may have other dietary restrictions. It really just depends on you. So I'm just going to show you these particular examples and kind of talk a little bit. This is one that I found. It's very easy to do, and I like it. It keeps me feeling nice and full in the morning, but not sitting too heavy if I'm going to go and work out immediately afterwards. Another one of my real favorites is a veggie omelet, and the way I like to do mine, I use a lot of like salsa and everything, and sometimes that will sit a little funny if I immediately start out my day right from there. So this is a nice neutral one. So all I'm going to do is let this heat up just until it looks like it's about to boil. You want to watch out and make sure it doesn't boil over. It's going to make a huge mess, which I've done like twice this past week when I made this meal. I tend to get distracted and do that. One way you can kind of help prevent that is to not leave a lid on it. But if you didn't know, leaving a lid on something that's trying to boil really conserves a lot of energy, and it's really good for the world. So there you go. I went to the Doris Duke Estate in New Jersey, and there was an informational piece I saw about something about if everybody just put a lid on their pot when they boiled water, it would save, and I have no idea how much energy it said, but it was amazing the amount of energy that we would save as a nation if everybody would just put a lid on their pot when they're trying to boil water. How crazy is that? It'd probably sound a lot crazier if I knew the actual amount. Alright, so I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit here to when this looks like it's about to boil. Okay, looks like we're just getting ready to boil here. So as that one side looks nice heated up like that, I'm just going to add a half cup of oats. And this is just per the package directions. So depending on what you use might change the amounts. Okay, I like to use these, the old-fashioned rolled oats. You can get the quick cooking kind. It is a little bit faster. I think this takes 3 minutes instead of 5 minutes. I just like this kind. You can also get the steel cut, you know, whatever you like. But this is nice and easy, and it's cheap too. As you can see, I got the large 42-ounce container. And you want to turn this down so it doesn't boil. Well, it doesn't boil over like mine's about to do. And you just want to keep this going this is going to cook about 5 minutes in this particular case. Again, just follow the directions on the particular type that you bought. Alright, now that it's been boiling for a couple minutes, I'm almost halfway through the cooking process, which this is oatmeal. It's not baking a cake, so you don't really have to worry if you undercook it or overcook it. It's just going to change the texture. So you can just do that to taste anyway. If it starts to get kind of dried out or too thick, you can always just add a little bit of liquid, especially because what's going to happen next is going to really thicken things up. So I like to just use any kind of, I pre-buy egg whites in a carton. It's probably less cost effective to do it that way, but I just know that I'm not going to do it otherwise. I sometimes will do just one scrambled egg, or sometimes I'll do one scrambled egg and add a little bit of egg whites if I want just a little bit more protein in here. The egg whites, I think, are just kind of again, it's one of those dietary things. If you're eating the yolk and you have cholesterol issues, that's kind of what comes into play in deciding if you're going to use the yolk or not. There's nothing wrong with it. I usually will. The main reason I'm only using the egg whites right now is once you open the carton of egg whites, you're really supposed to use it within like 7 days, and so that determines how much of it I will use, because I don't let anything go to waste. So all I'm going to do, whether if I scrambled an egg or if I'm using the egg whites, it doesn't really matter. All I'm going to do is just kind of stir it in a little bit, and you could use the carton to kind of decide how much you want. You could measure it out, and again, the ratio depends on you. If you like a lot of egg in it, that's fine. If you don't like any egg in it, you don't have to put any. But I just put it in until I kind of judge by the consistency here. Like I said, it's usually about 1 to 2 eggs worth that I put in here. And you just want to make sure you keep stirring it and that you're heating it up as it goes so the egg gets all nice and cooked as it's in there. And as you can see, it's not like just an egg sitting in there. It just still looks like oatmeal. It will look a little bit different if you have the yolk in there. Then you want to stir it up definitely, because you don't want like a pot of oatmeal with then just all of a sudden a big scrambled egg sitting in the middle of it. You won't even notice the eggs if you do it this way. With the egg whites, you can't even tell that there's any eggs in here. It's just oatmeal. So no difference. And I've reached the end of my cook time now, so I'm just going to start to change this now as I feel day to day, especially if I'm going to eat this a lot of mornings in a row. You probably want some variety so you don't get too sick of this. You could eat this just like this. This is very plain. Another way I used to like to do it a lot was just put some brown sugar in there, and that's just straight delicious, but it's probably not the best for you. All you're doing is really sweetening it, and not really gaining any nutritional value out of that. So what I found now that I like to do instead whenever I can is I just put like a scoop of peanut butter in there. I put a nice big scoop. So I just go ahead and get a real decent spoonful. Again, you just determine the amount based on your own taste if you want it. And I put that right in there. And your oatmeal's still nice and hot. This will just mix right in. Nice, no problem. Just keep stirring it up. And this looks good. It's starting to smell really good too. Oatmeal doesn't really smell like too much otherwise. And now it just smells like peanut butter. And obviously if you have a nut allergy or something, then you don't want to do peanut butter. Sometimes I'll put honey. I'll do peanut butter and honey sometimes, or brown sugar and honey. My go-tos are to just make it taste really nice for me. And so peanut butter is a big one. Honey, brown sugar. You can add pretty much anything you want. You could do cinnamon or any of the classic oatmeal flavors. And the last thing I like to do to add a little bit of a punch here and spruce it up is to add some kind of fruit. You can just get like frozen fruit even and put it in, because it's nice and warm, and you just want to make sure that you would seal it up and kind of let that not be ice cold, so you don't have like this really hot oatmeal with this ice cold piece of fruit in it all of a sudden. Plus it'd be pretty hard on your teeth, I guess. So I usually will actually use fresh fruit if I can, but I know sometimes it's just more practical to have the frozen fruit on hand. When I do smoothie recipes and everything, I pretty much use a 90% just frozen fruits, because it's too much of a pain to buy, wash, and use the fresh fruit within the time limit before it goes bad. and to have to handle all that. So here's the easiest fruit, in my opinion, is the banana. And so what I like to do is just cut up a banana and put that right in there. Plus, banana and peanut butter just go together really well. You could also just eat some fruit on the side. You could put some blueberries in. You could do whatever you like to do. Just make it your own. I just load it up with a whole banana. I don't stir the banana in. I just leave it sitting there, and then I eat it around the banana. If you serve it in bowls, so I eat it right out of the pot also. So I just eat a little bit of banana with each scoop, and this is it. This is good to go. I'm ready to eat this. I'm going to eat this whole pot myself. Everybody's dietary needs are different. Okay, so don't, if you're trying to lose weight and, you're 5'2", this is not what you want to be eating every morning. This is a lot of food probably. But for me, I just got done doing some morning yoga, and now I'm ready. I'm kind of feeling the hunger pangs, so I'm going to just devour this whole thing. So that is just plain delicious. I like to wash this down with just a bunch of water in the morning too. I always struggle to make sure I'm drinking enough water during the day. So this is really great. My favorite thing about it, you can flavor it however you want. You can add whatever you want to it, and it can be very, very quick. If you get the instant oatmeal and you just fire this up right away, you can be done with the whole thing in 5 minutes. If you're using the carton egg whites like I am, you don't even have to worry about the time it takes to crack an egg, scramble it, or anything like that. You can just immediately just pour a little bit in right at the beginning, and you're good to go. And this is so fast, and it will just last you a really long time before you get hungry again. When I go hiking or if I'm about to go out, this is great because I don't feel like I need to eat again in the next 30 minutes as soon as I get started. This really, I always describe it as, it really sticks to your guts there. It sticks around without you feeling really like bloated or from having eaten like a whole bunch of greasy food or anything like that. So that's one option. I hope you guys try it out, make it your own, enjoy it. Let me know what things you tried, and if you found something that works really well for you. If you want to talk a little bit about some substitutions or something you can do specifically based on your stats or your goals, I'm always happy to do that. But in general, just use your smarts, try to make it as healthy as you can. When in doubt, try to cut out things like, hey, this would probably be really good if I dumped the whole packet of chocolate chips in here. Guys, don't dump a bunch of chocolate chips in there. That's not going to be good for you. It might be delicious, but don't do it. All right. Hope you enjoyed. I'll make maybe a couple more videos on just some general, easy, cheap meal ideas. I don't support any specific brand or anything. There's nothing important about the brands I buy. But all of these particular ingredients, I think, came from Aldi, which tends to be cheaper. I always encourage you to buy stuff when it's on sale, and save some money. There are healthier products out there for more money, I'm sure, but this is cheap, easy, good, and reasonably healthy. So I think this is a well balanced decision. So hopefully you guys give it a shot and enjoy it. Thanks, guys.